Greenland, steel in hand, burn through ice with brutal brand. Hearts of winter melt away, no place left for cold to play.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. If President Trump is one thing, he is consistent in his worldview. President Trump archived interviews from the 70s and 80s sound just like he does today. The same commentary, the same worldview, the same stance on immigration, on the economy, on the American dollar, on foreign countries, and, ladies and gentlemen, on American greatness. This is why President Trump tweets age impeccably, much like President Trump himself. I promise not to do this to Greenland, President Trump posted in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a very popular post at the time, of course, showing a massive golden Trump Tower in the middle of a humble, rustic fishing village in Greenland. This thing was a banger, did some real numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone thought that Trump was joking. No longer joking. And now that he's sending his son in Trump Force One to land in Greenland, Donald Trump Jr. as an emissary of the king. This is back in the feudal days. The king would send his firstborn son in order to go look over new acquisition land to be vanquished. Ladies and gentlemen, the Don Roe Doctrine. Trump's vision for the hemisphere laid bare. But why does Donald Trump want Greenland? Why is Donald Trump so obsessed with Canada? There is actually a rationale to the rhyme and reason, and ladies and gentlemen, it's quite interesting. First, let's begin with the top line of this article. Why does Donald Trump want Greenland behind the strong, deliberate message to China? President Donald Trump has revealed Tuesday that he's not ruling out military force to annex Greenland, leaving many Americans asking about why. In fact, the ice-covered Danish territory is considered the largest island in the world, has long been a hot topic among strategists in Washington and elsewhere. Despite Copenhagen's insistence that it's not for sale, due to the location along with vital shipping routes and a presence of key raw materials that are rarely found anywhere else. A few critical reasons for the Trump question also includes the absolute and total dominance of the Arctic Circle, which will become incredibly important in the coming era. The president-elect is laying out a framework for the Trump doctrine. The U.S. is locked in a three-cornered fight with China and Russia for the Arctic region's natural resources, such as lithium, cobalt, and graphite, according to the Wilson Center, a foreign policy-focused think tank in Washington. There are two main reasons to annex Greenland. The first is large deposits of rare earth elements needed for critical defense and electronics manufacturing. Second is Greenland's legitimately large claim to the Arctic that would provide the U.S. a stronger position in competition heats up for navigation and resources there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead on over here and take a look at the Arctic Circle, shall we? Here's the Arctic Circle looks like right now. America has a teeny portion of it at the very top of Alaska, but that's quite small in comparison to Canada, Greenland. This is Norway right here. And then Russia, of course, that's the big bear up there. Russia owning an enormous part of the Arctic Circle. But who cares? It's the Arctic Circle, right? Who lives up there? Santa Claus? Like, there's nothing going on. Nope, that's not true. Ladies and gentlemen, the Arctic Circle, because of melting ice caps, is going to become possibly the best trade route from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, something that's always been absolutely essential for any growing power. Why does Trump keep joking about making Canada become the 51st state? This is according to Reddit. The answer for those of you who are not familiar with geopolitics is shipping Canada and Greenland, and by extension Denmark, control the Northwest Passage, which due to ice melting is set to become one of the largest shipping routes in the Earth. Canada can't defend it against its other claimant, Russia, without U.S. support. America is going down the path of wanting to further control of shipping routes to maintain hegemony. While these come off as a joke now, make no mistake, this is long-term U.S. strategic objectives. Whether through conquest, economic partnership, or some other means, the U.S. will eventually control these routes. Whether under Trump or somebody else down the line, he's just the one putting the idea out into the atmosphere. Seems pretty smart to me, man. Got to tell you, even Trump's own national security advisors, like Mike Waltz, this is the guy who's the national security advisor for the president. the guy with the literal office next to the Oval Office. That's the NSC officer has. It's a very important dude. The Arctic will be where we compete for natural resources. Coast Guard needs more than one icebreaker. Russia has dozens. So here he is already saying, yeah, we're going to be competing with Russia up in the Arctic Circle. This is a gorgeous icebreaker. Now let's build a dozen more. This is a new icebreaker for the U.S. Coast Guard. And this is the NSC, Trump's NSC, saying, that's the plan. Let's build a bunch of icebreakers. Here we go. Why my country, Denmark, should sell Greenland to the United States. USA is a highly valued ally of Denmark. Of course, there wouldn't be a Denmark without the United States of America. Duh, idiots. Right? Like without the United, like Denmark was totally and completely conquered like 60 years ago. Something that some people might remember called World War II. That's when they actually gave up their administration of Greenland. Greenland was not independent. It was totally and completely administered and defended by Denmark and was considered sovereign Danish territory. They gave up that administration when they were conquered by Germany. And so for like the entire World War II, Greenland was in the stewardship of the United States military, which had to send a number of vessels there to secure the island to make sure it would turn into a deep water Western Hemisphere port for the Nazis to launch U-boats to attack us. Do you understand? That Denmark, of course, can barely pay for its own bills right now, and that they can't afford to keep floating Greenland. Greenland is in total abject poverty and can't be developed because of that. Old colonial power. Denmark also sells its old power to its land to America all the time. We just bought the U.S. Virgin Islands from Denmark for $25 million. Like, that happened a couple of years ago. So this is something that obviously should happen, but let's read. We're a small country, and we can't contribute that much to the alliance. But we can contribute by selling Greenland, and that's something. Denmark doesn't have the capacity to mine or extract oil. Selling to somebody like that makes sense. It does not make sense selling the rights to China. Whether the people of Greenland would want to join the U.S. is not a real hurdle. There are 56,000 people living there. For about $5 billion, you could give each of them $100,000 and they would agree. Denmark should also receive a reasonable payment. There are vast metal deposits underground, and that could possibly be worth 50 billion barrels of oil equivalent. We are the rightful owners of this. Greenland has been under control of the Danish crown since before the U.S. was even a country, officially since 1814. Well, so that's wrong. We have taken care of Greenland, and about 30% of its GDP is block grants from Denmark. Also noteworthy, our Norse ancestors inhabited southern Greenland before the ancestors that are currently there. So they post this up. No, you don't have a right to Denmark. You gave up that right when you abandoned it in the 1940s when you were conquered, Danish person. But now it looks like a referendum inside of Greenland could solve this easily.
News. Greenland is calling for independence from Denmark after Trump made repeated offers to buy the island. This comes after the Prime Minister of Greenland said in a New Year's speech that it is now time to take the next steps for our country and that Greenland needs to remove its shackles of colonialism under Denmark, referring to the island's status as a Danish colony until 1979 when it became self-ruling and was allowed to have its own parliament. However, Greenland is still officially owned by Denmark, and most people on the island were fine with that until Trump came into the equation and made multiple offers to buy Greenland. Those offers were rejected by Denmark, but this seems to have spurred a desire for independence among Greenland's politicians, with one saying that the country needs to shape its own future in regards to who they will cooperate with. It is possible for Greenland to become independent because a 2009 agreement with Denmark declared that the island can secure its own independence if a successful referendum is held.
So, do it. You know, there's already American military bases in Greenland. There's been a lot of talk about Greenland recently. Many don't realize there's already home to one of the most significant and important U.S. military installations, Pufik Space Force Base. The remote base is critical to our national security. That's where it's located, right there. Kind of cool. Didn't know that that actually existed. Plays a vital role in missile warning systems. Radar is an important global network that ensures U.S. and our allies are prepared to detect potential threats from Russia and China. Space dominance is the new frontier for military superiority. Look at that. The Arctic ice melts. New shipping lanes are opened. The competition in this region is intensifying. ensures the U.S. has a strategic foothold in the region where Russia and China are increasing their influence. So there you go. This would be like the new routes. This would be like the American route. And you can see how it cuts right there along the side of Greenland. So you'd want to control this in order to control this trade route. Obviously, Russia would control this massive trade route here. So everyone's trying to go from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean and back. It's always been the role of a massive world power to control those shipping lanes. If you can't control those shipping lanes, if you're not expanding as a world power, then you're shrinking and dying as a world power. And that's not us. Not in the great American century. Can't believe so many people don't know why we would want Greenland. Idiots. It's Donald Trump. This is why Donald Trump's posting this, because obviously you're going to need control up top here. Oh, Canada posts Donald Trump on Truth Social. Amazing map right there. Joe Rogan is now floating the idea that Donald Trump should also just grab up Mexico while we're at it. What a mess Mexico is. So just go for it, right? Take them both? Sure thing. Joe Rogan saying, I say we let Mexico in too. Posting this post with this Truth Social from Donald Trump. Talking about how Canada will love being the 51st state. Ladies and gentlemen, the world that we live in today was not created by smarter people. The world is always just created by people just like you and me who decide what's best for them and decide what's best for their children. And as Americans, right now, it is important that we decide and do what is best for the continuation of the greatest nation on earth, America. And that means looking at breaking down, rethinking, remaking, and just doing things, actually, in this country. And that's good. That's honestly a good thing. The entire country, I'm not saying go to war, I'm not saying like bomb anything, I'm saying that the entire country of America was purchased. The whole country. Like, the whole country was just bought. We bought it all. Okay? We just made deals and bought it. Alaska, Hawaii, Florida, where I am, all of it was just purchased. Okay? So, maybe we can go back to that. What's so wrong about that? That happened like 100 years ago. So, what's so wrong about that? Just ask questions. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. That's why Trump wants Greenland. See ya.